Hello, I'm Jacqueline Mangold, and this is Rachel Peckham.
Hi.
We're going to talk about acupuncture and the treatment of substance misuse today.
Okay, so the 5 detox points. You will be seeing a demonstration shortly of the actual treatment. But the auricular acupuncture, or the NADA sort of tonification technique, if you like, it's very different from how we place acupuncture needles in the body. It's quite important that we train, when we train health professionals who haven't ever done any acupuncture, that is a very specific way of needling. And we've got here, you locate the point, you place the needle close to the point, hopefully not on it, because sometimes that can increase the anticipation for the client. Because it's in the ear and it's on the head, obviously it's a much more kind of sensitive area. And it's important that the technique, which is a tonification technique, but a fast spin on the needle as it goes in. So it's not placing the needle in and then turning it, as we may do with body acupuncture, because if you do that, that can generally be quite painful for the client. And one thing we don't want to do is put people off the acupuncture by it being, too tender. So the tonification technique is a very important part of the training. So we've just got the points, as you can see, lit up or in a lighter colour. So as we were saying earlier, it's 5 points. We've got the sympathetic point, and the reason it's a square, it's here. The reason it's a square is because it's actually
sunk a bit low, isn't it?
Actually, it has.
It has.
It should be up here.
It should be higher up. Yes, I'm sorry. I think that's been kind of interference with the
way the slides have been placed onto the presentation.
Yeah. Sometimes it can happen because they're all kind of different little points, And can we move it? I wonder. Am I? No, you can't move it.
How odd.
No, we just moved the slide in this case. So, oops. So, yeah.
Bit of a technical problem there.
Yeah,
apologies.
Yeah.
But just to say, that's not the sympathetic point there. It's here. It's at the end of this is the anti-helix ridge, just going all the way down to that bump there. And basically the point lies underneath the root of the helix, which is the outer part of the ear, at the very end of the anti-helix ridge. So it's just about here underneath that ridge.
So it's where the arrow is at the moment, not where the point is indicated. And the square indications of point is always showing points that are not visible, basically.
Yes. Very strange that happened.
The gremlins. So I'm going to keep
it
here,
me. It's beyond me. So we've got the sympathetic point, which helps. It basically calms the central nervous system. It's very helpful when the sympathetic arousal is up. So we've got the balance between the parasympathetic and the sympathetic, this being the sympathetic. So when a lot of the adrenaline and stress hormones are going in the system, this point can really help calm that. And that's quite often you see, I think it's quite an important point for stimulant users.
Yes,
who may feel the effects of this treatment in a very calming way very quickly, more so than people who are using opiates. So it's a very good point for calming the nervous system.
Well, there's this sympathetic dominance in stimulant users that is more pronounced than in other people. Although sympathetic dominance for all of us is a problem in daily life. So do so many things. So.
Which is why it's good for just general stress, this treatment, and for helping with anxiety and panic attacks and that sort of thing, where there is that dominant sympathetic.
Yeah. So the one point you're not going to forget today is this one here, the sympathetic point, because it's in the wrong place on the presentation.
I was just about to spot that, but you got there first.
Do you want to go on this point, or are we
We'll go on with the Shen Men.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next point.
It's still too low.
Not as bad as the other one, though. It is a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yes.
Well, it might be because the screen is spread as well.
It could be.
Bit, yeah.
Yes, but I can't understand why that has dropped so much. Anyway, the Shen Men and Sympathetic are, in general auricular acupuncture, they're 2 of the 10 master points or primary points in auricular acupuncture. And Shen Men is a very, very widely used point. I'm sure you've come across it. It's generally referred to as the calming the mind point. So, yeah, just said to help the Shen. So when there is Shen disturbance, and I think this point particularly helps with shock and trauma. In fact, that's another area that NADA's been used in, which again, you may have seen information about. It's been used after trauma like 9/11 and some of the natural kind of catastrophes that have happened in the world where people have had suffered trauma, like psychological trauma, where they're finding that the ear acupuncture really helps. And I really believe this point is quite instrumental in helping with shock.
It's also a great point for pain, for any kind of pain. So I think
and so is sympathetic.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
So they're both great for pain.
Yes,
which ties in with all the pain complaints people have.
Absolutely, and also Shen Men is of course used to help sleep. So when people have insomnia or sleep disturbance, this is one of the main points that's used. Then we got the kidney point, which again is a hidden point, which is just slightly underneath.
Low,
yeah, it's a little bit low. It's really underneath this ridge here, the antihelix ridge, where the antihelix ridge curves upwards below the Shen Men, because you've generally got a bit of a line that's formed with the Shen Men, the kidney, and the lung point. So it's generally below the Shen Men in the upward curve, under the upward curve of the antihelix, on the flat surface, which is the concha surface of the ear. I've lost the cursor now.
Right, sometimes goes a bit to sleep, yeah. So it's just around here, is it? Yeah, just underneath.
Thank you.
Just like a bat hanging in the cave. We often say in training.
45-degree angle upwards.
Upwards.
But of course, that is helps kidney function. And then we've got the 2 lung points. This area, the lower concha area, or the cave and concha area, here.
We're back on the kidney point here. It just jumped. It's a bit sensitive to pad.
Okay, thank you. So that's the lung area here, and you've got the upper lung on the upper edge of the concha area, and you've got the lower lung, and these are kind of in line with where the 2 walls of the antitragus meet. And in the NADA treatment, you do the upper lung on one side and the lower lung on the other side, and of course this is for helping strengthen the lungs.
Well, it helps with temperature and sweat and other things, doesn't it?
So many related functions of the lung in Chinese medicine. And finally, we've got the liver point, and the liver point is just above this is the middle ridge here, or the concha ridge, and we've got the top edge of the middle ridge, runs across the ear, and in the little corner where it meets the antihelix. So we're still on the concha flat surface, and where those 2 ridges meet, that's where the liver point is. And a very good point for helping with any liver problems. We were saying about health, and one of the common problems of drug and alcohol users is hepatitis. So liver problems, and obviously helping with general soreness and pain. And
just look at the amount of anger and irritability that comes up in the complaints.
Exactly.
We're back into traditional Chinese medicine.
So a lot of holding in and tension is very much helped by the liver point.
Okay, and we're going to now show you a demonstration.
I hope you enjoyed this free webinar. Please take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please share on social media. The world will be a better place when more people know about the benefits of acupuncture.